Oh, damn. Oh, right. Oh, okay. Oh, good. Camera. uh, see if I can get some light in here. Give me 1 second. There's a generator right there. 1 second, guys. All right. Whew. Now, I don't know what's exactly out there. It seems like there's some, like, runners and clickers are out there somewhere, and it probably just occurred to me you guys probably don't know what that is. So let me explain to you guys a little bit. Naughty Dog does it again. Another grand slam, another great game. And The Last of Us. Obviously, if you're clicking on this video, you know it's about The Last of Us. Now, this is my first game review, so I'm going to try my best to be as fair as possible and really kind of point out not only the great stuff about it, but the faults as well. So let me give you guys a little bit of backstory. The game starts off, and it's pretty much a post-apocalyptic United States. Basically, there was like this fungal infection that was spread throughout the U.S., infecting, I'd say, a good 70% of the citizens. Now, at this point in the game, you take on the role as Joel. Joel is, his main character. He's the guy with the beard you guys been seeing, voiced by Troy Baker, probably one of the best, I'd say, voice actors. He's probably like the new Nolan North, in my opinion. A great actor. He really helps sell the role as Joel. So basically, now you start off in this quarantine zone. I'm not sure if it's in each state, but you're stationed in Boston, and the quarantine zones are basically a place to keep all the uninfected people, and he lives there with his partner Tess, and he basically takes on a lot of odd jobs, from whacking certain people to transferring items from point A to B. In this game, he takes on the responsibility of transporting this little girl Ellie, who you've seen throughout different trailers, pictures, wallpapers, what have you for the game. Promotional pictures for the game, voiced by Ashley Johnson, and basically, again, Ashley does this great job of bringing this character Ellie to life. So basically, he has to grab her from this group called the Fireflies, which is a militant group who they're usually kicked out of all these different quarantine zones for disagreeing with the government. Their true idea, what they're really trying to do, is find a cure, because they know a cure exists out there somewhere. So the point is to get Ellie from point A to B to the Fireflies, so they can, I don't know why, to find a cure, basically. All right. So without, I don't want to get into more of the story. That's pretty much the main premise. I don't want to give too much away because there's so many twists and turns, surprises. If you guys have played some of the Uncharted games, you know what to expect out of the story-wise from this game. It's really great, in my opinion. What I really like about this game is it brings back that survival horror. It brings back the tension of maybe not surviving. It brings back the tension of, you're not super powered. You don't have all these different guns and max ammo, and you're just taking everybody out like the current Resident Evil games. This game limits what you have. So you're not gonna, you may get this nice high-powered gun, like the shotgun, the shorty, which is kind of like a little sawed-off shotgun. Great weapons, but you don't have a lot of ammo for them. So as fun as it would be to just go there and blast through each zombie or whatever infected person, you don't want to do that, because you want to hold on to what you have. You don't want to just go and blast everybody away. Otherwise, you're going to be kind of screwed later on. So this game kind of gives you the option. You can go in there guns blazing. Not recommended. More recommended game style play is to be stealthy. What's good about stealth is, you can you can conserve your ammo, conserve your supplies. And that's really big in this game. Conserving what you have. Because you don't want to just go and, like I said, blast through everybody and then be left with nothing. Then you're kind of screwed for later on. Joel has some really cool moves, like he can kind of duck down and see, kind of listen out for enemies around him. So you're never turning a corner and getting, just bombarded with enemies most of the time. You have your occasional jump scares, which is, I guess, needed for a good survival horror game. But you always have the tools you need to survive. And that's the big key word here, is survive. You're surviving this game. You're not going to dominate. You're not going to go and Duke Nukem the game. You need to survive. And that's what I really liked about this game. It really brings back survival horror at its most purest form. Some great, good, I guess, gameplay for the game is you can upgrade Joel, upgrade his abilities, upgrade his health, upgrade his listening to get further range. So whereas you start off in the beginning, you can only listen out for people who are close. Later on, when you upgrade it through finding pills and whatnot, you can actually hear further away. He can visualize what's around him and not be so vulnerable for an attack. Some other great things in this game is they allow you to create weapons. Now, it's very limited, but it's very satisfying. Let's say you find a baseball bat. Let's say you find a pipe. You can actually use different supplies you find, like, let's say like blades from like scissors or shards, and tape them onto your weapon, allowing for one-shot kills against normal enemies, even against the higher powered enemies. And I guess let me go back and tell you guys who the enemies are. You have 3 basic groups of enemy zombies. You have the runners, who are people who were just recently infected. They show characteristics of regular people. They're pretty much like your lesser enemies. You can actually take them on usually without a problem, at least a little later on. You run into a little bit of an issue, but at first, but you can actually at least melee them and fight back and defend yourself. You have your next group of enemies, which are called clickers. Clickers, they can't see anything, but they listen out for you, and they listen for noises, and that's how they'll come at you. It's very important to go stealth against these guys if you don't have the proper weaponry against them, because they will get you in one shot, and that pisses me off. But they'll get you in that one shot. Your next and I guess final zombie form would be the bloaters, which are these. Basically, they're the example of what happens when a person's been infected for so long. They're just fully fungal. Those things, man, they're pretty dangerous. They'll throw different, like gas at you, and they'll run at you, and they're gonna take you out in one shot. You got to fight them. You got to shoot them in specific areas if you have guns. Otherwise, going back to crafting weapons, you can craft Molotov cocktails to throw at them and burn them to death. So it usually takes about a good two to take them out. And then other enemies are different. Like, I would call them gangs that will that are basically out for their own survival. So they're going to take advantage of any human they can get. So you're going to be fighting a lot of regular people in this game as well. Everyone fighting for survival. So some more, I guess, some things I really liked about the gameplay was, even though it's a linear game and you really kind of do have to follow a straight path throughout the game, it really does give you a lot of freedom for exploration. And this game really rewards you for exploration. Don't just, you can if you want, just run through the game, that's fine. But you'll have a better time looking around, looking through the creepy environments, finding different tools and supplies you can need to craft things like medkits, Molotov cocktails, your weaponry and all that stuff. Also, something that's really good about the game is the way they really advance the storytelling from out of cutscenes. As you're exploring and finding different supplies, you'll find things such as like different notes and stuff that people may have left behind that kind of really show you, and it shows you how scared these people were. Like, they're going through this, they're being chased by these zombies, and they're, being attacked, and you get to see more of a personal side of these people. They're not just characters in a game that are just blown away. These are characters that had lives, that had families, they had everything, and everything was just taken away from them one day because of this huge fungal infection. It's pretty quite scary, to be honest. It kind of makes me think, what if it was my family? And that adds to the creepiness of the game. So enough of, just talking this game up. I know you guys probably want to hear some of the bad aspects. Some of the negatives about the game would be, it's very little, to be honest with you, because, I don't know, personally, I consider this game really good. It's a masterpiece, in my opinion. But some of the bad stuff about it is, very once in a while, there'll be some frame rate issues where you'll see some black screen in front of you, but it's very slight, it's very quick. Personally, I didn't run across it myself. My girlfriend did. She ran across some sticky corners where she gets stuck behind different covers and all that stuff. Another thing I really didn't like was the clickers, they're a to me, they're like a secondary enemy before the final big guys come at you, and I really don't feel like they should kill you in one shot. Like I like that you have to be scared and you have to tiptoe around them, but there are a lot of times when you'll be thrown into a room and you're being charged at by not only the clickers but the runners, and then these clickers are killing you in one shot. It's like, what defense do I have against you? As a person, I really didn't like that. I really feel like they should have gave you more of a chance to defend yourself. Now, don't get me wrong, later there is an upgrade to kind of defend yourself a little bit better, but still, I mean, one-shot kill. I remember in the beginning of the game I had a spiked bat, and I ran after one of them, and I'm running at them, charging at them, getting ready to hit them with the bat, and I died. Are you kidding me? So that kind of pissed me off a little bit. Also, the multiplayer. I mean, there's really no reason for a multiplayer in this game. It's another one of those games where they're just kind of throwing out multiplayer to, prolong the longevity of the game before some DLC comes out. Personally, I don't really like the multiplayer. The multiplayer consists of kind of like a team deathmatch, and I guess you'd say kind of like a King of the Hill type mode, where you have to collect supplies against the other team. Honestly, I really don't feel like a lot of time was put into it. I don't really care for it much. Honestly, I feel like you don't need it. Be perfectly honest with you. I mean, I'm not the only one who doesn't think you need it. Check out Redbox. Alright, so talking about how bad the multiplayer is in The Last of Us, I think Redbox knows that it's horrible too. Check it out. Single player only. Trust me, that's all you need. So, again, you don't really need the multiplayer. After being able to put so much time into the game, I myself put in a good 16 hours into this game, and it's just so addicting where you do not want to put the controller down. So I mean, I have to highly recommend it to anybody. It's definitely worth the purchasing price of $60. I spent a little bit more. I got myself the Survival Edition for $80. Definitely worth it. It came with some a big textbook looking thing full of art from the game. It came with the soundtrack for the game. It came with a paid DLC voucher for the Sights and Sounds DLC that's coming out later on. And it also came with the variant cover for the first issue of the game, produced by Dark Horse Comics. Big comic collector, of course I'm going to get that. So, final verdict of the game. I really wanted to give the game a 10. The only thing that stopped me from giving it a 10 is that the trophies, it's mandatory to play the multiplayer to get at least 4 of the trophies. I'm sorry, I don't feel like the multiplayer is worth it. So I'm going to deduct 1 point for that, because you should be able to get every single trophy in the game just playing a story mode. So, 9 out of 10. Worth the buy, worth the purchase. Buy the game. It is one of the best games of the year. It is up there to contend with BioShock Infinite. And if you're a big fan of survival horror, or even just a really good story, this is the game to buy. So, thanks for tuning into the M Rebel Show. Don't stop gaming, ever. And I'll catch you next time. Oh, crap. Run! Go!